proud to be here, grateful to be here, sad to be here, but glad that I am here with you to honor this man's life.
Hundreds of people, including Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, gathered in Loudon County to celebrate the life of a deputy who died in the line of duty.
Sergeant Sgt Jenkins died trying to protect other drivers. That 20-year veteran officer was trying to pull a ladder off I-75 when he was hit and killed by a semi-truck that failed to stop. The celebration of his life started at 1 o'clock this afternoon. The public tributes and burial wrapped up about an hour ago. Family, friends, and fellow deputies, along with members of the public, lined up to pay their respects.
We have team coverage of the services today from Loudon County. Grace King at the cemetery, Vinay Simlot at the Justice Center. We begin tonight with Cole Sullivan at the high school, where, again, friends, family, and we heard from the governor, Cole, honor this 48-year-old officer.
John, we heard from the governor and we saw hundreds of his law enforcement family, Sgt Jenkins' law enforcement family here as well. Now that the funeral at the burial site is wrapped up, some are coming back here for a luncheon or dinner, as the case may be, this evening. Earlier today, we saw this heartbreaking scene as his pallbearers, friends, and fellow colleagues were walking his casket out to the hearse, the sheriff standing by, hundreds watching that. Before the ceremony began here at Loudon County High School, they handed out boxes of Kleenex, tissues for folks who might become emotional, and I will say many of those were used here at Loudon County High School. Some of the most poignant moments came when we heard from the sheriff and from Sgt Jenkins' son. Inside Loudon County High School,
I've lost my daddy.
Heartbreak.
His fellow deputies loved him, and I loved him.
Memories of fallen Sergeant Sgt Jenkins, a 20-year veteran of Sheriff Tim Guider's department.
He led his team from the front, and he was right there with them if things broke bad.
Jenkins' son, Clay, just 25, vowed to protect his family and his community.
But wearing this uniform is the most honorable thing I've ever done in my life.
Following his dad, his Superman, into law enforcement.
I had to do everything that Daddy done because I had to grow up to be like my hero.
Now planning to return to work and take over his father's call sign.
I'll put 904 back in service, and it will stay in service until I don't have a pulse any longer. I'll carry the legacy with honor.
It wasn't all sad, although that is heartbreaking. We also heard about some of the lighter moments. We saw Sgt Jenkins smile. We heard about his pranks that he pulled on his fellow officers from time to time. And also, Robin and John, we heard about his son saying that he hopes there's a Crown Vic that he's riding in heaven right now.
We got a picture into the man, Sgt Jenkins. All right, Cole Sullivan, thank you.
Also, the father of a 16-year-old girl. And Grace King, you have more on that final public tribute today at the burial site.
Well, John, those close to him and his son called him a hero, and that's certainly how he was honored here today at the Loudon County Memorial Gardens. Dozens and dozens of people showed up in his honor. Take a look. And after all of those traditions to honor him concluded, they played Sgt Jenkins' last call for service for everyone to hear. It was an emotional moment as they said goodbye to a community hero. Robin and John.
Grace King with our live coverage there from the cemetery. Not only an officer, but also served in the military as well. And one of the first memorials to that fallen officer appeared at the Loudon County Justice Center.
That's right. Vinay Simlot joins us there now live. Vinay.
Robin, this is the memorial to Sgt Jenkins, and I was here last week when they started it. It's been growing ever since. I want to show you some video of what happened here at the Justice Center. They brought the hearse over here from Loudon County High School. They transferred his casket from that hearse to a caisson, a very special walk to the Memorial Gardens that they did here with Sgt Jenkins. It was a quarter-mile walk. All of the Loudon County Sheriff's Department's deputies were able to follow him as they walked over to the Loudon County Memorial Gardens. And at the Justice Center, I want to show you some of what the person who owns the horses with the caisson said about the experience.
Everything goes into slow motion, time stands still. It's almost like this whole world just stops just for him, just for that few minutes.
Now, because Sgt Jenkins was a K-9 officer, he had his K-9 very close by him during his service. Other law enforcement agencies sent their K-9 units to the Justice Center here. They lined the streets as Sgt Jenkins' caisson passed by here and made the walk to his final resting place back out here at the Justice Center. It was an emotional scene, full of law enforcement. And the other nice thing about this was that law enforcement from other parts of East Tennessee took over for the Loudon County Sheriff's Office here, and then Blount County and Jefferson County 911 took over for the 911 department here in Loudon County, just so everybody could have a chance to attend that memorial, John and Robin.
So important to see that outpouring. Vinay Simlot live for us, and really echoing what one of his fellow sergeants, Hatch, said at the memorial service. He was always looking to care for everyone around him, and that's what he was doing when he was killed.
Indeed he was. Vinay Simlot. Vinay, thank you very much.